Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we will take a look at a new managed server offering from Gridpane, and it is called PeakFreq. So what is PeakFreq? It is basically similar thing like Cloudways, and as you can see on their homepage it is way cheaper than Cloudways, and you will get Vultr high frequency servers in price. It meant to be to replace the server management and those kind of things, and basically you just spin up the server and you don't need to care about any technical stuff. It should be automatically done. So yeah, now we know what is the PeakFreq, and yeah, we can start deploy our server. So the PeakFreq service was opened 6 days ago. As you can see, I purchased the credits to test it 6 days ago, and the server was deployed yesterday. I was able, and basically it takes too much to get your new server, but I understand it is a new service. There are many people signing up, and it needs to be done manually to prevent abuse or spam or those kind of things. So when you visit your Gridpane page, as you can see, you can deploy your new managed server option, and basically you can name it. So we're gonna name it test. You can choose the regions. For example, we can select Amsterdam. Here you can choose your server plans. Those are Vultr HF, high frequency, and they tend to be a little bit on the more expensive side, but you will get the Gridpane panel. So we stick with 2 GB RAM, 2 CPU cores. And for the web server, I'm really surprised why they don't include the light speed. But I don't know why, but we will stick with NGINX HTTP3, because you want to have HTTP3 or quick protocol on your website, which makes your website faster. It is faster than traditional HTTP2 protocol. So we select this in beta, and for the database, I don't know why they locked down the MariaDB, but from testing, MariaDB is faster than MySQL or Percona 8. So we just have to stick what we have, and we can now create our server. Set payment data first. Okay, so I'm going to set up the payment details. So I added my card. I'm gonna do it again. NGINX HTTP3, server plan, 2 gigs, and MySQL 8. And we're gonna create our server. And username Gridpane, and here is the password. Okay, I will copy it to the clipboard, and when the server is deployed, we will continue. All right, so our server have been provisioned, and when we open it, as you can see, we can change some settings, backups. I think they are doing automatic backups, automatic snapshots through Vultr. So I don't know how you can restore backup if something goes wrong. Probably you will need to open a ticket. And for the PHP, coming soon, MySQL. As you can see, those features are not available on the core plan. Looks like Redis coming soon, and you can check the logs. So it's looking really weird why all of those features are locked to Gridpane plans, but nevertheless we can check it later. But what now I want to do is to go into the server and check some things. So I think we go to the system users and we will create our non-root sudo user for server administration. I'm gonna name it webnestify, and I'm going to paste my public SSH key. So I have added my user and my SSH key, and now we can go back to our terminal and we can set it up. So I'm gonna edit it, username webnestify. I'm gonna remove the password and I'm going to add my key and we should be able to log in. Webnestify, continue and save. And perfect. So we are now into the Gridpane. So what we want to do, we can set our password. Our current password. We don't have any password. We did not set it up. Let me check it. Maybe it's gonna be the password that we get when we deploy our server. So let me... Nope. Where can I find my password? Maybe when we switch to user to Gridpane. Yes, Gridpane. We enter the password they provided. And now when we type su, nope. Sudo y. Gridpane is not in the sudo files. Okay, so let me switch su webnestify. That's really weird. Where can I find my password? Okay, let me go back to browser. And as you can see, we have our system users. And we can get the password probably by clicking the eye icon. And we can copy our password. So we copy that. And we can go back to our terminal. So I'm gonna do su webnestify. Perfect. So now we have our password. And when we go to sudo y, we are now as a root user. So what I want to check is the system resources, system stack. And as you can see, the stack is really heavy. It's consuming 700 megabytes of system memory, which is almost half of the 2 gigabyte that you get. So I don't know why it is, but it's probably because of the NGINX, Monit, and other monitoring things that you will get with the server. Usually with other panel stacks like RunCloud, you get 200 or 250 megabytes when you deploy the server. So this is more than double that. Okay, let me check if we got UFV status. We have W, and we have UFV status numbered. And by default, we got connections to SSH from anywhere, port 8443 anywhere. But the thing is, we set up the HTTP3, and HTTP3 is on 443 UDP, and I don't see if UDP is here, but probably it will be there. But we will check it when we do the website test, if we have UDP 443 connection. So let me check systemctl status failed to ban. And we have failed to ban active, but I'm not a big fan of failed to ban because it is really slow and it is outdated. What I recommend to do is to set up CrowdSec, and CrowdSec is a lot better than failed to ban because they updating the bad IPs almost every single minute. It is a cloud service, so you can also do a lot of great things. So we will set up the CrowdSec and I will walk you through it. So first, what you want to do is to disable fail to ban. So you're gonna type systemctl stop fail to ban. Now $1% and systemctl disable fail to ban. So now our fail to ban is disabled and we can now proceed with the installation of CrowdSec. How we can install CrowdSec, you also have the guide on my YouTube channel and also in the documentation. So I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna type yes to confirm installation of CrowdSec. And basically CrowdSec will protect you for MySQL vulnerabilities, NGINX vulnerabilities, and many other things that you can set up the collections on the CrowdSec. And this is why it is far superior to standalone fail to ban, which only detects IP that will connect. It will not defend it proactively. So now our CrowdSec is installed. Now we can install our collections. And as you can see, we have base HTTP scenarios, endless SSH, IP tables, MariaDB. And we can continue with installation. We also set up the WordPress bouncer, so you can set it up also on the WordPress, and you will need to copy this API key that you will later enter into the WordPress. And now what we do, we type system control reload CrowdSec. Perfect. So now our CrowdSec is reloaded. What we want to do is to set it up on our CrowdSec console. So let's go back to browser. You create your CrowdSec account at crowdsec.net and you will add a security engine. You copy this and we go back to our terminal and you just paste it. And now you will need to confirm the enrollment. So we go back to browser. And yes, I accept the enroll. And now we will need to restart the CrowdSec again inside of the terminal. So you just type system control reload CrowdSec. And what's a really great thing about CrowdSec is that you can set up the block list. So when you go to the block list, you can subscribe to manage a block list. It really depends if you have the Pro plan or the basic plan. With basic plan, you can have only 2 free block lists, which is really enough. So let me refresh the list. And when you go to manage, you can add it to all of your servers, but by default, everything will be automatically there for the servers you deploy. So let me go to the engines. And here is our new server that we set up. And as you can see, here are the all scenarios that CrowdSec will protect you from. Where fail to ban cannot do those kind of things. So that's done. We have our user. What we can go back to our servers. And I want to we don't get access to Firewall, so yeah. What I like to always do is to set up the hardware firewall behind the instance and then also set up the UFW or Firewall D. But I guess they control everything, they control the firewall, so we cannot add our own rules. We need to open a support ticket. Okay, let's deploy our WordPress website, I guess. And we have our test server, PeakFreq.webnestify.org. System user. You don't want to create your web application under sudo user. So we're gonna create probably our new user. It's gonna be vn underscore and something of general like this. And default including WP admin. Okay. WordPress admin name is gonna be webnestify a.a.com. And we're gonna add our WordPress password. PHP, always go with the latest one, I guess. So the latest one is available only 8.1, but I recommend using 8.2 if they add it in the future. PHP process management, dynamic, that's fine. Caching, I recommend to go with fast CGI and Redis. For WAF, we can do 7G, SMTP none, SSL auto SSL. And again, DNS API is only behind paywall, so cannot do the Cloudflare automatic SSL, I guess. Local backups hourly. Remote backups, you can also do hourly. But it's really interesting that you cannot select your own storage provider. So yeah, you just go click at site. Keep field is required, yes, but I cannot select it, so go disabled, disabled. So I guess there's no backups. I don't know. I'm gonna add a site. System user can't include underscores. Okay, I'm gonna do dash. And we should have our WordPress. At first, I'm gonna need to add the DNS record. So I have added the DNS record of my site, and SSL is not yet deployed because we did not have DNS record beforehand, and the DNS API is behind paywall. It's kind of bummer, but never mind. Let us open the website and auto SSL on. Okay, we should get our chatbot with SSL. Let's close this. And I think For the caching, we set a fast CGI for NGINX and a Redis object, which is fine. For the security, we enabled the 7G, which is really good. Modsec is not available. A WP fail to ban is again behind the paywall, but we don't use fail to ban. We use the CrowdSec. Additional measures, yeah, everything is behind paywall. At least you can set up the HTTP authentication for free, so that's really nice to see. But other things like hardening, it's behind paywall. PHP settings, that's fine. Again, to see the slow queries from PHP is behind the paywall. Backups, automated backups, nope. Daily backups, update, test. Again, the backups are not working. And the SMTP, that's fine. All right. Is there a file manager? Let me close those. And we can single sign on to our website. Why does it not working? I want to single sign on. Login with admin ID 1. Okay, I blocked the pop-ups, so I'm gonna allow it. So let's try one more again. There we go. All right, perfect. So SSO is working. I just was blocking the pop-ups. And when we go to our site health, page cache is not detected. We go to info, WordPress 6.3, that's fine. Server, NGINX, PHP 8121. What else we can check? We can check the database. It's MySQL 8. And the WordPress constants, I think that's fine. But let me check if we are working with HTTP 3. So to check if your server is supporting HTTP 3, you go to http3check.net and you paste your website, the URL. And as you can see, the Quick is supported, so that's really nice, but we got only those two protocols for HTTP 3. So let me check webrestify.cloud. And as you can see, if you are on Lightspeed or Open Lightspeed server, you will get all available connections, which is far better than those two you get with Gridpane. But it does not affect the site speed. But it's really nice to see that you can now use HTTP 3 with NGINX. So let me check our block list. If we got something, not yet, that's fine. And yeah, I think the first impressions with the whole process, how you set it up and those kind of things are not very good. But I guess this process will be improved. You don't have to wait 6 days to get your server done and prepared. And I really don't like the things where you are behind paywall, because I got a free account because I was doing some maintenance on Gridpane servers for some customers. So I have an account where they can invite me so I can do my job. And yeah, many things are behind paywall. You don't get to choose you don't get to choose if you want a light-speed server or if you want the fast MariaDB. Then for the backups, they are done daily, but you don't have access to those server snapshots. You will need to contact them. I guess that's fine, but at least they shouldn't put your backups behind paywall. Because if you want to set up backups to some cloud storage like Cloudflare R2 or Backblaze, you should be able to do it. There's nothing that should that would increase their costs. So I don't know why that's behind paywall and those small things, you know. So I don't know, would I recommend it? That's a tough question because, yeah, if you don't want to use Cloudways, yes, I would recommend to going with PeakFreq, but some things that me as a server administrator are really weird. And yeah, I know this is the first impression. I don't know if I'm good with the first impressions video, but yeah. It looks really interesting. And also what we can check, we forget what is the scope of a PeakFreq managed hosting. You can read more about it here, but features included with PeakFreq. All features in our core plan. You get support ticket access, that's really great, that is not behind paywall. Server monitoring, our local and remote backups, and our standard staging features and our cloning features, and no limit for website. So that's basically it. What will you get? You cannot set up your own storage, which I don't really get it why, but never mind. They should specify where are the local and remote backups. Are they encrypted? Do you get access to those buckets? And those kind of things. So they need to polish it and get more information for it. For the panel plan, as you can see, you will get all the panel plan features. Also snapshot failover. So basically, if you want if you want to have full access to everything, you need to have a Gridpane subscription, which is not cheap, and then you need to have a PeakFreq server. But what's the point of having a Gridpane subscription and PeakFreq server? So I don't really get it. But yeah, Gridpane is Gridpane, so what can you do? And PeakFreq scope of support. Management of your server via Vultr. Okay. Migrations, there is fee. Installation of IronCube loaders on your server on request. Those should be done automatically because IronCube are a PHP extension that will encrypt the PHP, which is really good for security standpoint. 7G, basic 7G firewall, initial debug logs for those HTTP errors, and the resource monitoring. So I don't know. For me, in my eyes, it's fine, but it's like the Cloudways. But here you have full control of the server if you decide to do. So that's really great thing, because with Cloudways they won't give you, they will never give you root access. And as you can saw before, I can do whatever I want on the server, which is great. I can set up my rsync for the web applications. I can set up the cron jobs for database monitoring and many other things. I have full control of the server, which is really great thing that you can get. And you get the support tickets, which is really, really good. Okay, then, so let's wrap things up. So by the end of the day, I would recommend to ditch Cloudways and go with PeakFreq, because with Cloudways there are many things they are doing wrong. Their support is useless. You are constantly spammed with affiliate things in your account, and if you will have some server issue, they won't fix it by fixing the root cause. They will tell you to upgrade to higher plan, which is no-go, and they should not be doing it, because those issues will be there even if you upgrade the server. So, and also they've been acquired by DigitalOcean, and they ditched all the servers like Vultr and those kind of things. You can do only from DigitalOcean, which is understandable. And yeah, switching from Cloudways should be easy. They will, Gridpane team will help you with all the web application with the server if they are on Vultr. You don't probably need to change the IP, I'm not sure. But yeah, so what are the pros and cons of PeakFreq? So let's first talk about the pros. You will get HTTP 3 on NGINX. That's really good. You will get ticketed support. You will get the high frequency Vultr servers. And basically you get the basic stuff what the Gridpane offers on the free plan. So by the end of the day, you can just deploy your own server and go with the free plan. But on the other hand, you will get their monitoring, their backups. So basically, if you don't care where is your data stored, and that you have to open a ticket to restore the server of the website, so yeah, it can be considered a pro. And what are the cons? Well, you don't get to choose if you want open light speed, or if you want to get MariaDB instead of MySQL 8. You don't get access to hardware level firewall where you can set up your own rules, like I'm doing in my Hetzner. Yes, you can do your own firewall rules via UFW or Firewall D, but for basic user who don't know maybe small things or a couple things about the server management, the hardware firewall is always nice to use, because you got the graphical user interface and you can follow easy guide how you can create your port 22 protection on your IP and those kind of things. Third thing, I did not read what port is Gridpane using on the server, what IP. So the port does not need to be open to public. So you can create the rule that those IP will be communicating on the Gridpane stack port. And yeah, other cons are the features that you would like to use most likely are behind paywall. So let's go to the pricing. So you would have to pay 100 every month to get some features like local remote backups, suite of security tools, DNS integration with Cloudflare, plus you will pay for the PeakFreq server. Oh damn, I thought, okay, never mind. So yeah, it is up to you if you want to use it, but don't use Cloudways. Don't use Cloudways for business because you're gonna have a lot of issues. They won't actually solve it. So I would recommend again going with a PeakFreq instead of Cloudways. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's all for this first impression. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know down in comments below. And I hope you like this video, and I will maybe do follow-up in a couple months how it goes, but probably, yeah, it will take some time. So yeah, like, share, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support, and yeah, stay awesome and stay tuned for the next video. Bye bye.